Hello, I'm Jackie from Central Exhibitions, and I've taken to the roads to come and meet some of our suppliers. And today I am joined here by Gary from Bonkers Mobile Disco, which kind of explains what you are in that title. But I mean, how did you come up with the name Bonkers? I mean, it's great.
It was purely a Dizzy Rascal song.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it fits in perfectly with DJing and.
Yeah, that was when I started DJing, and I was looking for a name, and that just sprung to mind.
So tell us a little bit about yourself.
As you mentioned, I'm a mobile DJ. I'm based in Aylesbury. I travel wherever the work is, so there is no bounds to that really. So distance isn't a problem. I've been DJing for 12 years, and yeah, I love doing the DJing.
Fantastic. So if I was to be getting married, already married, but say I'm looking for a DJ for my wedding, what sort of makes you different? I mean, obviously when you go to wedding shows and you get chatting to people or you see online and you book a DJ or whatever, it's hard to know who you're going to get. And for me, I think personality is really quite important for a DJ. So what happens with you? Do I book you? Do you have a team of people you work with? What happens there?
Well, thank you, Jackie. That's a good point, actually, because I actually 90% of the time, or 95% of the time, it'll be myself. The only reason that it wouldn't be is if I'm ill or for some unforeseen circumstances I can't actually get to the venue or something. And then in those circumstances, I have a team of people that can step in and cover for me and do just as good a job.
That's it. But it's mainly you, which is perfect because, you know, it's a really big selling point because a lot of times, you know, you might end up with a different DJ on the night that you weren't expecting. And yeah, whereas I know I would be more than happy to have you DJing for us.
That's very kind of you.
Yeah, so that's great.
I mean, so I feel that is important because it's yourself that it's yourself that I'll be talking to from day one when we meet up to the day and in the evening. So if there's anything in particular that you mentioned, you know, Granny would like this played at at 9:30 kind of stuff because it's very special to her, or can you play the kids' music, or there's a special song to us. I haven't then got to remember to relay that to anyone, or things go wrong. I know that I've got to do that. I've been there all through the process, and so it's just about making it as stress-free for yourself as possible, and for making it as easy and as easily going. Weddings can be hard going at times, but all the planning. I just want to simplify it really.
Fantastic. And so, what do you bring along with you? You've obviously got a DJ booth. What else do you bring along?
In addition to bringing obviously myself and my booth and my music, I also bring the lights which come standard, the mirror ball effects, etc. I also add the added wow factor. We can bring in the uplighting, which can colour match any themes you have for your wedding, whether it's pinks, blues, different shades of, just to give that extra wow. So it's not just a dark room; it's you've got the colour around it, and it gives a better atmosphere. We can also provide the 4-foot LED love letters, which give a good effect during the day, but a wow effect in the evening because obviously being dark, it shows up more. We also offer the options of a black or white star-cloth booth, whichever suits your theme best.
Yeah, fantastic. So it's a lot of options there. When you think of DJ, you sometimes think, oh, what else do they have? And you've obviously got lots there covered, which is fantastic. So as part of the process, what happens? So I'm looking for a DJ, and do I need to select the music to you? Do you sort the playlist out? How do we get people up on the dance floor dancing? What happens there? What's your process?
Well, basically, from the moment you book me, I would send out a contract and song request sheet, with the front sheet being the contract, which basically states the terms of cancellation and deposit. But it also has on there the important information that I need, like setting up times, start times, finish times, and what you'd like to be announced for as your first dance. Because you'd be amazed at how many people, whether it's double barreled, whether it's, you've got to make sure that it's the right names. And also on the back of that, we then have the song request sheet, which you state your first dances. You can whether you have a father-daughter dance, whether you don't, whether you like. What styles of music you like, what styles of music you don't like, because you'd be amazed everyone's music taste is so different, and there's certain people won't like certain things. Someone might not like ABBA, some might not like party dances. So we make it your day, basically. So whatever you would like, I mean, even individual songs, You can fill out as many individual songs that we can choose from. You can take requests from guests. Some people send out song request sheets in with the invites so that people can actually say what their favourite song is. But a tip for that, I would say always say a song you would dance to rather than a song, because otherwise you get a lot of songs you listen to rather than dancing to.
And they're completely different, of course, which you don't think until you're trying to have a party and get people dancing.
Exactly.
So,
But say, and if you know, certainly early doors. I mean, people are saying hello to each other. They're walking around the room talking more. So you don't. You don't always expect the people to be up and dancing from the start. No. It's generally more the kids, to be fair, that are dancing and things. But after that, if it goes a little bit quiet at times, I'll may walk around. I'll announce that song requests are taken. You know, if anyone's got any special songs, because it gets them involved.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's all very nice giving the songs that you like and you think they're going to like, but if you're not playing the songs, their special song, you know, Billy wants this song, John wants that song, they hear the song, they get up and dance, and it then brings everyone else in.
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. So you can take requests on as well.
Oh yeah, I'm always more than happy to take requests. And
you do the emceeing as well. So like you say, all the different announcements throughout the night. You know, if they wanted to say, come up to you and say, oh, could you announce this? Lost child, maybe, I don't know, or just like, you know, whatever it might be.
Yeah, whether it's photo booths or guest books being signed in. I mean, I usually mention to them that, you know, the bride and groom, when they come up before, when I say hello, when we get there and set up, I always say, have you got guest book? Have you got this and that? Because you'd be amazed, you forget those things, and you get to the end of the night and half the people have gone home, or they, they haven't signed the book. So it just works. You know, it makes, again, they haven't got to go be reminding people then. It's my job to kind of guide them through the evening, really.
Fantastic. And how long what's the typical wedding? How long would you normally be there? And do you break in between while you're there? What's the sort of...
To be fair, normally the average set is normally around about 5 hours, which is why on my packages that I set out on the website and things, it mentions 5 hours, but it can be longer, it can be shorter. But it's usually probably around about 7:30 to about 12:30, that kind of 7 till midnight, that kind of timings, because when you're in the planning, I've done a few weddings before where you think it's good to have make it as long as possible, but you'll be amazed how tiring the whole day is. You know, and the bride's been walking around their heels and trying to dance in their heels, and kids have been up there. They get tired, and therefore sometimes the last hour or two, because it started so early, kind of thing. People are tired, they're asleep, or the kids are going to sleep, or you drift off and just chat more. So you think it's better, but sometimes probably 5 hours is around about the right time.
Perfect, lovely. And do you break during that time?
No, I'm on constant. So just because it's the flow of the evening, really. I mean, the only time that there's necessary breaks is if I'm working with bands, kind of stuff. So if I'm working with a band, they'll generally do an hour, 45-minute set. I'll do a bit in between. Then I'll have a break, they'll go back on, and then I'll come on and finish the evening. But that's really the only time that we have a break, really. Fantastic.
Okay. And on the night, if there was any problems with the equipment, do you have a backup?
Yeah, that's a very important thing. You find out early doors that you must have a backup. So if one system goes down, you've got to have exactly the same kind of thing to keep the flow going. Really, so no one notices. You're back up and running very quickly if something does drop out. So just to keep the flow going and keep everyone entertained.
Oh, great! So that's another stress reliever for couples then, getting married. You know, they don't have to worry that.
It's just peace of mind.
Yeah,
that
of course.
If something does go wrong, there is a plan B.
Great. And what packages do you offer?
Well, basically on my website and with leaflets and all my information that I give out, I've got packages as an example. So I've got bronze, silver, gold, and platinum packages, and they just range from the basic of me doing say the 5 hour set through to having wireless mics for speeches or background music for wedding breakfast, which is a very popular one because people don't think of it, but to take the edge out of chinking knives and forks while people are eating and just the quietness. Just gives a bit of a background, music to that. Also, the love letters as well. That's also in the packages. But although they are packages, we can move them around and bespoke to what you'd like. So if you want one from one for another, but you don't want the love letters, we can just jiggle around and work out a price and stuff. So that's not a problem. And the other major point is I offer wireless mics for speeches, because you'd be amazed how it calms you down. You haven't got to shout. You haven't got to worry about being heard. Everyone at the back of the room can hear and it can be involved.
Fantastic. Oh, because although it's, can feel a bit unnatural holding a microphone if you're not used to it, actually at a wedding where you've got quite a few people here, it's much worse not to be heard when you're trying to make a speech. And, that can create, like you say, more nerves, and it gives you that little bit of confidence to know that your voice is being projected.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll always give people a few tips of how to hold the mic, and not to hold it too far down. And general rule, it's you have your thumb on your chin and with the mic, basically. So yeah, I'll make sure you can be heard.
Great. And what sort of time do you need to set up? How long do you need? Because some venues you might be in the same room where they're eating, for instance. Do they need to clear out so you can set up, or how does that process work with the venues generally?
Obviously, like you say, each venue varies depending whether it's in the same room or not. I mean, if it's in the same room, generally speaking, while they're turning the room around for the evening and putting a dance floor down and moving head tables around, etc., I'll be setting up at the same time. So there's not additional setup time, but I'll speak to the venue ahead of time to make sure all that flows as well. So we can get your evening going on time and as enjoyable as possible. It usually takes about 45 minutes to set up. So no, it's down to a fine art now. Yeah. It's like a jigsaw.
Yeah. Fantastic. And I suppose all you need from a venue really is a power source.
Yeah, that's it. Literally a couple of a few sockets and where I'm going to be setting up, and away we go.
Great. And are you insured? Is your equipment insured? How does that work, or do they have to take out additional insurance policies, or?
No, I mean I've got full insurance, public liability insurance, and all my equipment is PAT tested. So it's everything's fine. So
nothing to worry about there either.
No, and certificates are provided to the venues, if asked for and needed. So that's fine.
Great, Gary. So if I wanted to book you for a wedding, what's the process? What do I have to do?
Well, basically, it's purely a £50 deposit that secures your date, and you send back the contract, front sheet that I mentioned earlier, and then we can either meet up in person, or we can speak on Zoom. These days, because of distance and timings and things, or a lot of the time I actually trying to arrange kill two birds with one stone. I arrange to meet at the venue, so I get to see the venue and speak to the events organisers and stuff early doors, and I get to see yourselves, and you can point out what you want in particular.
Great. And I imagine you've worked with loads of venues, so you probably know a lot of the setups there and where the best place is to be located and things, which you can talk to the couples about as well.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say I can give, for a lot of venues, I can give the advice of where the normally is and where the other options that they offer and give. But say it's all down to them in the end, them and the venue. But like I say, I'll be talking and liaising with both the couple and the venue from start to finish. So
great. So look on your website, find your phone number, give me a call, and you can discuss it from there.
Yeah, exactly that. Perfect.
Great. Oh, well, thank you very much, Gary.
Thank you very much for your time today.
Okay.